Ever since I was a foal, my fathers and the centaurs of Sotiri would tell me stories about the stars, that they were magic and made from the gods who made the gods, the elders, beings of great wisdom, ingenuity, and power. They were considered fairy tales, myths, that they didn't exist, or, if they did, they were long, long gone. But I always wanted to hear about them and learn more anyway, even into adulthood. It was a desire that filled my whole being, something I needed, like how the sea needs the moon. I never believed for a second I would see an elder shard, let alone hold one, but I did. Its power filled me with strength and skill, flooding every part of mine and my companions' beings as we killed a god. We killed a god. Pirate Queen, Sea Hag, the mother of krakens, the great unbeheld, Eula Saltsmile. But the power was fleeting, temporary. It was gone as soon as it arrived, and once again I felt empty. But this time, I realized I was empty, that something was missing, that I was lost. Now I know and recognize that I was just foam drifting on the waves, a yearning that I had my whole life that I never knew about returned, and with it, a voice, calling, one whose words I cannot hear, nor am I able to respond to, no matter how hard I try.
Hey! Hi! I don't have time for this. No offense, very busy. Hand me that red flask. The one on the left. Your other left. Oh, it's Winnie, sea scavenger extraordinaire. Shouldn't she be scavenging? Yes, I should. But no, there's things out there. Star things. Powerful things. World-changing things that need to be investigated. There's something... Jeffrey, don't eat that. Something I know I knew. There's so much I don't remember, don't know. I have to relearn it, but how? So, I'm here, experimenting, trying not to set the ship on fire. I don't even know what I'm looking for, exactly. Can a star be created? Can you get close to making a star? How do you reverse engineer the biggest magical object you've ever come across when you don't even have it anymore? See, I'm really good at the questions, but all I'm finding so far are more of them and no answers. Well, and a potion that makes you, really strong. That's not what I wanted. Hey, do you... No, Jeffrey, don't eat that!
After so many years under Eula's thumb and having my whole life determined for me, being told what was right and what was wrong, having no one else but her, I'm finally free. Or so I thought. It was never redemption that I yearned for. No, someone like me could never do enough to make up for all the bad I've done in the name of a fake idol. All I've ever wanted was to be desired, and in my search for it, I betrayed the one who made me. I betrayed her for the thing that she feared most, and I tore her and her kingdom down. Now, it's all I can feel. It's hunger, a constant reminder of what lurks just below the surface. Its name occurs across my skin, ever present, ever threatening. I led it here. I fed it power, and it wants more. It craves the power that only the gods wield, and it will destroy me to get it. So, I'll just have to destroy it first.
Everyone lives their lives bound by what they accept as correct and true. That is how they define their reality. But what does it mean to be correct or true? those are merely vague concepts. Their reality may be all a mirage. I was an arbiter of a zealot Triton tribe, the Nalos. I was true to my traditions until I found my reality was a mirage, an illusion to subjugate my people and gain power for an evil demigod. Now I have been touched by darkness and broken by a false oath. Tell me where I should go now. To the left, where nothing is right, or to the right, where nothing is left? I turn to the shadow, for that is the only place for a monster like me. I am the ghost of the Tritons. I am the darkness of the Nalos. I am the unholy warrior of the seas. I am the Shadow Knight, Proximus.
Waves crash on the beach of an endless sea. In them you hear a voice, a beckoning lure you have heard so many times before. It is the song of the horizon. She calls to you. She sings of endless wonders and untold horrors, of golden promises and dire warnings, and you know her song. It has always been there. Listen, can you hear it? The wind is in your favor, the tide is rising, the sea is yours for the taking, and your ship awaits. Fair winds and following seas, brave mariner. May fortune find you when the horizon calls.
Ahoy and welcome everybody. Welcome back to Horizon's Call. We are super excited to be back after our holiday hiatus. Super excited to have you all here. I'm so glad to be back sailing the high seas with these amazing folks. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. My name is Derek Sword. Yes, that is my real last name. Yes, it is awesome. No, you cannot have it. I am the DM for this game, and I am essentially the guiding compass in the tumultuous seas of Damaris. So let's say, I'm your GM. I'll be here to help tell the story with these wonderful folks. But before we set sail again, I know it's been a minute. Ahoy and welcome everybody. I'm going to pretend like all of that didn't just happen. Hi, welcome back to Horizon's Call. We're super excited to be here after our holiday hiatus. I'm going to say all the things that I said just a minute ago because OBS decided it didn't want to play nice with us. So yes, we're super excited to have you here. We're super excited to be back. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else than with these people telling this amazing story. My name is Derek Sword. I am the GM for this this wonderful game, this oceanic campaign of 5e set in the world of Damaris. Yes, Sword is my real last name. Yes, it is awesome. No, you can't have it. I did that out of order this time. Before we get into all of this stuff, because it has been a minute, and because of that, the Sword and Key channel has a couple of things just to note. So, first off, if you enjoy this show, if you enjoy especially this cast, which honestly, how could you not? Then the best way to show them your appreciation, show the entire show your appreciation, is through pally.gg, which you should be able to see in chat. Basically, when you gift subs and bits and all that kind of Twitch stuff, it's much appreciated. It's very much appreciated. It directly helps the channel, but it does go through the middleman that is Twitch, which definitely takes its share. So we more highly encourage you to consider donating through Pally. Pally evenly distributes the whatever you are kind enough to give to our players and also our production staff. It directly supports them because as much as we want the channel to, break even, make a profit, be able to pay from that, Pally is kind of a much easier way to do that. It evenly distributes, does all the math for us, which honestly, I would pay somebody to do math for me if I could. So if you choose to support that way, very much appreciate it. And again, encourage Pally because these amazing folks do an incredible job and it's best to support them in that fashion. Also, as you can see in chat, by donating money, you, the audience, can impact this show, this game, in a number of ways. Advantages, crits, and also what is called a black spot, which is a complication that is added to the game to make the dire stakes even more direr. So definitely check that out as well. And again, that works through donations through Twitch or through Pally. The equivalence is the same. Also, if we do hit a hype train, I will sing a sea shanty at break, which I've been contractually obligated to do several times already, so you can look forward to that. Also, the next thing we want to address is kind of the big elephant in the TTRPG, especially D&D room, which is the whole issue that's been going down with OGL, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons & Dragons, Hasbro as a parent company. In short, but that is to say that D&D's lackluster response has not really been ideal, so we're still waiting for what comes next. Speaking personally, I love the game that is Dungeons & Dragons. It has brought me no small level of joy and friendships that I believe will last the rest of my life. So I will always cherish this game, and we will absolutely be playing other games. We still play other games on this channel, but I will be running a D&D game on this channel until Hasbro directly tells me to stop. So that's where we are. In no uncertain terms, we definitely want what is best for third-party small creators and for folks like ourselves who stream this game and try to tell stories. And we'll stop if things get really bad enough. But personally, I have hope that if we are loud enough, that we will be heard. So keep pushing, keep loud, and hopefully we might actually be heard. Onto lighter stuff. This is the last thing. Throughout the month of January, we at Sword and Key are featuring a number of TTRPGs, non-D&D TTRPGs, that are benefiting Project Hope. Project Hope is a global health and humanitarian relief organization. This month specifically, we are focused on raising money for their Ukraine Crisis and Global Relief Fund, which engages on delivering medical supplies, trauma care, mental health support to Ukraine and Ukrainian refugees. The games being featured are Exuvier, Raccoon Sky Pirates, and Paranoia. Those are the next 3 Sundays, respectively, at 10 a.m. Pacific. And Follow Me Down with our very own mayor on the next 2 Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. The campaigns for Project Hope will continue throughout the entire month of January, so you don't just have to donate on those game days. You can donate any given day. And I believe all the games, with the exception of Follow Me Down, have incentives to donate as well. That was a lot. We got through it. I'm proud of you. OBS held up for the most part. So thanks for sticking around. We're now back to the high seas. So I'm going to have these lovely people to my left to say a little bit more about their lovely selves and their characters. Mare, if you wouldn't mind starting us off.
Hello, I am Mare. I use they, she pronouns, and I will be playing Acacia, your lovely 4-legged soul knife rogue who is just not feeling it. She's a refugee now.
It is. Yeah. Not feeling it is fair. Thank you, Mare. Mikyl.
Hi, fam. I'm Mikyl. He, him pronouns. I'll be playing Proximus Shadow Knight, your Triton, Oathbreaker Paladin, and Shadow Sorcerer.
Thank you, Mikyl. And of course, thank you to Mikyl for doing the incredible art that you see. Honestly, it's amazing, and I'm always very appreciative and in awe of Mykyl's talent and generosity. Kaila.
Hello. I am Kaila, she, her. I play Scarlet Shores, also she, her. Our, for now, Siren Warlock. We were talking about timeline prior to this session. So, we'll see. If she continues to be a siren.
What might she be, Kaila?
She might be a wereshark.
She might be a wereshark.
She might. There's still hope. We have 8 days?
And here I thought you were talking about multi-classing.
Anyway.
I don't know what Scarlet would multi-class in, to be honest.
I honestly, if Scarlet could multi-class into Paladin and then pick another god and then maybe multi-class into
Cleric of Saloon.
See, they got multi-class into cleric, multi-class into druid. Pick like a nature deity. Pick like a different god
Just
for cleric,
everything
different
to
god for
fight my
paladin.
patron that I currently have.
Pulled in all different directions. Yeah.
You know, I only have but so much soul to go around. It's dwindling pretty fast.
It's only so much Scarlet.
You know, there's plenty of souls to be eaten around here, so just...
And yes, the wereshark was a black spot resolution. So there's an example of a black spot. Thank you, Kaila. Eva.
Hi, hello. I am your sea elf alchemical artificer Winnie, and I am Eva, she, her pronouns. And I'm really excited to be out on the beach today, and yeah, definitely focusing very hard on wereshark cures. Yes, these are my Professor Winnie glasses.
Very clearly, yeah, they really match up the goggles.
Okay,
in your
to be
artwork.
fair, these are absolutely like something she would
What
wear.
Winnie would
in,
wear?
Like, a educational. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's all
if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and jump back into our story without any further ado. Let's do this. When we last left off, actually, Eva, you have a recap, right? I was going to do the recap, but you have the recap, so please.
I mean, you're welcome to. I just spent like 3 hours watching the episode and typing up extensive notes. But if you want to do it, that's absolutely
We both
okay.
did, so that's fair. We did it together.
I mean, you did like actual stuff, but it's fine. Okay, so no shit. There we were. On the Redemption, being attacked by the Bloodhound in a big fight. It was a pretty good fight, all things told. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I hear that if you type !YT, you could probably actually watch it for yourself. But long and the short of it is Scarlet apparently has like a real thing against cannons, which is lucky for us because she's real good at disabling them. And Acacia is super great as a giant centaur. Not that I have anything to do with that, but Proximus, I don't want to say that he doesn't have any chill, but he might have one-on-one taken care of Captain Brindle Kane. No one really knows how, because it was like this little dark spot where no one could really see what was going on. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure that has no moral implications or anything. But yeah, we now have another ship to go with our kind of battered keelboats and the Redemption, which is... I don't know. I don't really know ships. It looks pretty fine to me. Looks better than Bloodhound. But we have new friends. We have a whole new crew for the Bloodhound. And we have a really nice new friend, Marcus Ash, who was/is the first mate. And he seems extremely dreamy and trustworthy to me. So that's probably fine. Yeah. And we decided, I think wisely, to avoid Shackle Break after this whole interaction. And are heading to the next potential safe port. Emberly's Eye. And as far as I know, we're still on our way there. So, yeah. One of these days, little Jeffrey's gonna have to give the recap, and I hope you're all prepared for that.
Jawsome. Jawsome.
We... watching as many recaps as I have, I realized that little Jeffrey has quite a few phrases aside from Jocelyn, including "new mom," which he directs at Acacia. There was a lot of Winnie handing off little Jeffrey to Acacia at the end of last season, which I had forgotten about.
No, I'm not mom material.
There was also a very unsettling scene, which I'd completely forgotten, where you were all about to face off against, the big bad of season 1, and Winnie handed off little Jeffrey to Acacia and said, "Don't worry if I die. He only lasts like 2 weeks anyway, so just make sure he's comfortable. He likes cheese," and then runs off. And it was the most upsetting scene. Anyway, to get to what we're doing right now. You all find yourselves out at sea. It is about midday where we are right now. So you all had taken command of the Bloodhound, Scarlet and Winnie agreeing to stay on board, along with the sailors that were already there, led by, you presume, Marcus Ash. You also transferred a number of people from the keelboats, which had taken some damage, to the Bloodhound, which is a larger ship than the Redemption. It is a warship, whereas the Redemption is a sailing ship. So you were able to fit more people on that, at least make the keelboats a little more comfortable, space people out, because they were like packed to the gills, pun intended, with the refugees that you had. Okay. Sorry, folks. OBS is not being kind today, as I mentioned. So appreciate you all sticking around. We'll fight through this as best as possible. Okay. So you added sails to the Bloodhound. I am going to retcon one thing that I said last time. The stained glass that is at the back of the captain's quarters, that actually does not feature like a sun setting, because it's, I didn't know what to think of at that moment. It actually features a constellation, which maybe not all of you would be familiar with. At least Acacia might have been familiar with it. But to give the ship its name, it features the constellation of the Hounds of Tor, which is a simplified constellation that features hunting dogs. And so you kind of figure that is a connection to the ship's name. That said, I believe Proximus and Acacia did go back to the Redemption, and you find yourselves, the Redemption is towing the 5 keelboats, the Bloodhound sailing alongside. That is where you are now. You have about a week and a half until you reach what is known as Umberlee's Eye to sailors, because they are superstitious, and otherwise called the God's Eye by people who don't want to piss off what a deity that is commonly known as the Sea Bitch. That is a commonly used term for Umberlee. So you find yourselves there now. What are you all up to? Well, let's start with the Bloodhound. Scarlet, you took command. How has that been going?
Interesting, as there is the building of trust happening. We all know between pirates there's never really any trust. There's just, whose bad side do I not want to be on? So Scarlet has kind of slipped back into her old persona in being the head bitch in charge. And that seems to be working out okay. No one has tried to have a mutiny yet, so.
No mutinies yet. Scarlet, go ahead and roll me an intimidation check with advantage, since you are choosing to govern by fear.
14 on the die. I thought I had Scarlet's sheet up. Apparently I didn't. Apparently I just went to D&D Beyond that I don't pay for.
Clarification.
That's a 22.
22. Okay.
22.
Yeah, so very much as Scarlet might not be always at the helm, you absolutely can, lock the wheel. That's part of it, set it to cruise control. And you might walk around. You notice that, the sailors of the Bloodhound do not meet your eyes. They avert their gaze when you walk by, and there is definitely whispers that you might hear, picking up your name, that very quickly are cut off when eyes glance to you. Winnie, you being Scarlet's de facto first mate, I suppose, what have you been doing?
I mean, Winnie's been doing a lot, but you mean like in a first mate capacity?
well, what have you been doing on the ship? Sure, in first mate capacity, but also like you're away from your alchemical lab for the first time. How has Winnie been? What is she going to be doing on this week and a half?
Okay, so officially, she's talking to everyone, like getting to know them, learning names, handing out bubblegum for some reason. And, she'll, see what their hopes and dreams are and, like, what they're good at. And, like, just the sugar to Kaila, or to... Kaila is a deer. She will be the sugar to Scarlet's salt. But also, if she finds any of them who happen to, make some good, like, beer or wine or whatever, she might take them aside and, like, they might start a little side project.
Yeah, beer and winemaking, not super common on ships. Beer is, at least the making. There are beers, yes.
Yeah.
Good thing this is make-believe.
Good thing this is make-believe. I was going
I'm
to say,
pretty
there's
sure
there's
the
plenty
brewer's
of...
kit, you can make stuff with the brewer's kit.
Oh, yeah,
Indeed.
which
Sure.
I have, yeah. And it has, like, all the, like, yeast and, like, all that stuff. So, like...
And you're an
Fermentation.
alchemist, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, it's not a question of, like, if.
Yeah, I'm
It's
saying if
just,
you
like,
wanted to brew something, it could probably be done. Just space on any ship is important. So typically they already have the pre-bottled beer, which can, there's a reason that IPAs exist because they are terrible. But it's because they were supposed to,
she will reduce,
traversable.
reuse, and recycle any, like, previous casks that have already been emptied or, like,
That's why rum is popular because it's sugar-based and,
Also, how to make your crew actually go through the mutiny. Give them IPAs.
I mean, but if you're implying that it's easier for me to make liquor, yeah, I will absolutely make, hold barrel liquor.
with wine, sure. Winnie, go ahead and roll a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage, but I'm cute. And don't they...
You are also second in command to somebody who just rolled a 22 on intimidation.
But I'm cute. I'm running,
But I'm cute. Yes, you are, dear.
did you say, you said persuasion, right?
Please. I feel like that's what you're trying to go for, is just persuade them to like you. What'd you get?
It's a natural 20 for 24.
24.
At disadvantage?
Okay.
Oh, shit, no. Sorry, I forgot the disadvantage part. Oh,
Thank you.
balls.
Sorry to ruin that.
That is an 18 for 22.
Still pretty good.
Still amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It meets.
That
So-
does meet. So at that point, yeah, there's
It's kind of a wash.
well, in a way, it's a really nice balance because yeah, if they're too scared or like too loose, that's what leads to a mutiny. You have created the perfect balance of sugar and spice. You got like you said, the sugar and salt. So yeah, Scarlet definitely walk around averting eyes, but then Winnie right behind just like give it a little wave, and they'll kind of wave back to you and pop. I'm guessing you made the chewing gum.
Probably.
Okay. All right. That's upsetting because I know what chewing gum's made of. Great. Okay. Let's cut over then to the redemption. Acacia and Proximus. What are you both up to?
After you.
I good question. I think before I left the Bloodhound, I would have made a very violent threat towards first mate Dreamy, aka Marcus Ash.
You did. Don't worry.
Yeah. So so I would be back. I think I'd just be chilling in my my closet. Probably.
Sure.
I'm gonna. It's been a while since I've slept in the closet again, and so I'm gonna prop my feet up and begin reading in my journal of. Prop my feet up and. Oh, that was weird. I'm hearing myself.
That was me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My headphones cut out for a second. Sorry about that.
So I would be reading my history of the Triton people prior to Eula Saltsmile, trying to come up with a way to see what god was worshipped before Eula came into the Triton, the Nalos specifically.
Okay. Since that's what you're specifically looking for, go ahead and either history or religion, and you can do it at either one at advantage. If one is better, you can choose that. But yeah, especially because you are taking this week and a half, you are going through this book and reading about all these Triton kingdoms and all the way they kind of the diaspora or diaspora, however that's pronounced, of Tritons when they came from the plane of water to the material plane and spread across Damaris and made their kingdoms and these dominarchies. Yeah, see if you can find a god that might link them all.
All right. So I'm gonna guidance myself, and that's 19 total.
Okay.
On a history check.
On history. So as you're flipping through, it's very early on that it's kind of mentioned. You get hints as like maybe you're flipping through later that a lot of Triton kingdoms are actually theocracies. The Nalos, maybe even kind of along those lines, considering how important Eula was, the queen mother, that even above the warriors are the priests and the sages and the people that know the most about the gods. And a lot of Triton kingdoms have that in common. Most Tritons trace their lineage back to a single deity, the deity that made them, but also is a deity of making themselves. It is the god Persona. And Persona is a Triton deity that is said to predominantly live in the elemental plane of water, but also is renowned for creating the most magnificent things within the plane of water, and some things even within the material plane. There's said to be within the plane of water this magnificent, massive palace made of like the opalescent kind of seashell. And it's said that the palace itself, there's no seams to it. It's all just this single, ever-twisting piece that makes this beautiful, nigh indestructible place. And it's said that that was one of the first creations of Persona. And when he made that, he trusted in himself to make a people that he could then send out and do good works. And those were the Triton people. So really, Tritons they're very monotheistic in a way. They do pray to sea deities as well, because that is where they reside, but their god of Genesis is Persona.
Can I just say that that's so cool?
That is official lore. Watched a lot of YouTube videos for that. Okay. Acacia, what have you been up to?
I think for like the first day or two after, the ship fight where I rammed a ship and lots of people were killed and fire, I actually think I went on to some of the boats, checking up on some of the other refugees, making sure they're okay. If they need more supplies, scuttle them over. But mostly
that's the nice
control. Keep people calm.
Yeah. And especially, there were a number of people who were shaken up after the combat, and even were shaken up when they saw the Bloodhound sailing alongside them. A lot of people had like this immediate fear that, oh no, it was coming back. You were able to settle them down. And the nice thing about having these ropes attached to the ships towing them is that you can slide packages along them and kind of send food over, because the keelboats they're not made for storing and transporting goods, and when you already have them packed with people, it's hard to also accommodate for the supplies that would be needed as well. So yes, you have made sure that people are comfortable. You've definitely relieved a lot of the shoulder to shoulder pressure on the ships as well, and have made sure that everybody is being fed and as comfortable as possible.
I would definitely be putting some people in charge of each ship to make sure that food and water is being properly rationed, because we need to make it to Winnie's homeland, and that's like a week 2 journey from Soteria.
Even longer than that. So where you all are headed right now, especially with the damage of the ships, and this is something Connery would convey to Proximus and Acacia, you two being on the ship, and would have transmitted this information to Scarlet as well, being at the head of the other ship. You all are traveling right now northwest, almost straight northwest, to the nearest land, which is an atoll, again called Umberlee's Eye, or the God's Eye. And that is about a week and a half from where you are. Winnie's Kingdom is another probably 2 weeks from that. So there is also the possibility that some people might choose to drop off at Umberlee's Eye, or even Carina, which is right next to it, both of them being major ports. And if people are just looking to spread out, a lot of the refugees from Korra had kind of lived lives where they traveled from place to place anyway, and it finally settled down in Korra. So their attachment to their neighbors might be strong, it might not be. Some people might choose to leave, and you also have the sailors of the Bloodhound who might choose to leave. That's kind of the vibe that you're getting as you're appointing people in charge. Are you appointing people that you specifically know, or are you going off of what we might call an insight check?
If there are people that I know that are good at resource management and have their shit together, and are generally well respected by people in Korra, I'd probably go with them. If not, I will be going off 5 checks.
Okay, let's go ahead and do insight at advantage, because these are people that you kind of grew up around, and you would recognize familiar faces here and there.
All right, I can do this. Insight, let's go. Natural 20 for a 27.
Definitely. Yeah, you find the people that are best in a crisis. The people that don't want to be in charge, and that's why they should be in charge. You pinpoint them out very quickly, very easily, and kind of place them as this sub-captain of these keelboats, and they take to it like a fish to water. And they've organized each of the keelboats. They're coordinating between them. They've created supply lines between the keelboats themselves. If there's ever any excess, they will transfer that, as well as messages. So you have created 5 fully ship-shaped ships.
Perfect.
Okay. The week goes by. Scarlet maintaining order as best she can. Winnie assisting in an alternate but equivalent way. Proximus doing as much research as possible on his people. Acacia holding it together, and also helping others hold it together.
I would also like to Proximus and Trosho doing some deep sea fishing to acquire more resources, because I totally forgot we're just out there. So,
yeah, you had loaded the stores of the Redemption at least, and you had noticed the stores of the Bloodhound were packed as well, because both of you had recently been to port, so that's nice. But yes, much to your point, you also added 5 additional ships worth of people that you would have to worry about. So let's go ahead and do a survival check.
Okay.
And yes, Winnie.
I just wanted to make it clear that I'm never working against Scarlet. I would like to think that's implied.
You were not working. Yes, towards the same goal, but with alternative methods.
19.
Okay.
18 plus 1.
Yeah, so between you and Trosho, definitely collecting quite a bit of fish, crustaceans, maybe even, in some of the shallower areas, going down and, picking up a crab or two. You're hanging nets off. You are absolutely compensating for Honey, who is already moving as quickly as she can to feed the people aboard this ship. Fortunately, you don't have to worry about the Bloodhound. They have their own cook and everything. But yes, you are making sure that when you can, send like salted fish, preserved goods towards the other keelboats that you are able to do so. Okay. The additional 5 days pass where you, in kind of as the clouds are parting on the dawn of a morning, you see in the near distance this beautiful, verdant, green island. And it rises up into the sea, almost like a mountain range of sorts. Not maybe hills more than mountains. With this rocky outer face, you can see a couple of small plumes of smoke coming from what you presume to be residences. And then just like green moss and trees and vibrant colors as you get closer of flowers and tropical plants. And you are sailing now within the near distance of the God's Eye. Anything you all would like to do as you all kind of pull into port?
This is like a port, right? We've got people.
It is a port. So the way the Umberle's Eye is set up, it is circular. It is an atoll, and there is a break in one of the sides of the circle where people can walk through. So mostly ships will dock on the outside. There is a breaker wall that has been set up, and that's where a lot of the businesses are. The shipwrights and the fishermen and those sorts of people live on the outside of the circle. The inside of the circle is where you can get through like these tunnels after you've docked and kind of walked up into it a little bit, and that is this beautiful blue hole oasis. That's where a lot of the kind of more central and essential parts of the God's Eye exist. Because the God's Eye, and I'll kind of just give this to you as you would all be familiar with this. The God's Eye is an important place in Damaris for praying to your deity. Like I said, it's called Umberle's Eye by sailors because they're superstitious. But the God's Eye has a shrine to almost every god in Damaris somewhere on this circular island. And they're in very specific spots based on what kind of god you're looking for. Gods to the moon, stars, and sky are going to be along the rim of this circle. Gods to the dwarves are going to be built within the caverns. Gods to the ocean are going to be at the central almost plinth within this eye, within the iris. And so you know that there is going to be a lot of travelers here and kind of a lot going on, but this is definitely a neutral spot where people can dock all the time. So what would you all like to do? Are we docking right away and going on land, or anything you'd like to do beforehand?
I think docking and getting on land is the best case of action. Everyone's been cooped up in these ships for a week and a half, if not longer.
Absolutely.
Let's get them out.
And we've had
so
time
you're
to
coming
kind of
into port.
Air out the ships a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had time to
Just
kind of
a little
go
bit of
over,
funk.
like, hey, if you're part of the crew, like, these are the expectations. Yeah, like, once we're docked, they can go.
Okay. So the Redemption comes into port. As you're coming into port, you see a number of other ships lined up here, various sails and flags, none of them Nerean, some that you don't necessarily recognize, some of you might, if you wanted to, who are surfacers, or Winnie, wanted to do a check for what type of flags you might recognize. You absolutely may. Otherwise, yes, a variety of peoples have docked here. And we'll say that you cut the lines to the keelboats, allowing them to dock as well. And gangplanks are lowered onto the docks, and people are spilling out now. And you even see some people from the keelboats just jump directly over into the shallows and are kind of like washing the sweat and grime, because they also don't have like a below deck. So a lot of these people were kind of like holding their shirts over their heads to prevent sunburn. It is the middle of summer right now, so it's very warm, it's very pleasant, and it's a great time to kind of be in the water. So that's where we are now. So you get to the God's Eye. There's this sandy beach. There's fishermen all about, and you see that there are carved in stone steps into this rock face, which lead upwards into a tunnel carved into the circle that allows you into the inner iris of the God's Eye. I will say for Scarlet and Winnie, before you disembark, Marcus Ash stands by the gangplank, as officers are typically want to do when ships unload, and waits for the two of you.
Oh, okay, Scarlet. I'll go. Hi!
Miss, I'm assuming that everyone has your leave? Are you new at this?
No. Sort of. Maybe.
Some of us more than others.
While I have owned ships, I've never captained my own.
Also, I just kind of thought it was implied by our previous conversation with the GM. So, yes, you have our leave, Mr. Ash, and...
The crew of the Bloodhound waits until they are given leave to take leave.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Thought it was clear that we were all leaving. That included all of you.
He looks over where all of the sailors, like the refugees you brought on board, are already gone. The sailors are kind of all standing there, waiting. They're not like arms behind their back or anything, but kind of like almost like red light, green light. They're waiting for someone to say green light. And Marcus, the fire genasi, looks over to them with these kind of smoldering eyes and just nods. And you see they start moving in a somewhat disorderly fashion down the gangplank, some of them kind of shoving each other.
Safety first, be careful.
I hope you don't expect all of them to come back, because I guarantee you they won't, per our agreement.
No.
I don't expect anyone to come back, really.
Yeah.
That would be very difficult to sail this ship if they don't.
They'll figure it out.
Might I have permission to return?
If you want to.
Very well. By your leave, then. And he turns and walks down the gangplank, kind of trailing behind the others.
I really hope it's
Okay.
not just... This is just to Scarlet after he's gone. Because apparently we need to be super explicit. Didn't realize we were playing with Anik.
God forbid you roleplay.
Hey, Scarlet. I kind of hope that, like, a couple others come back with him, because it's going to be really awkward if it's just the three of us. And sometimes Sammy.
If it is the three of us, Winnie, we will figure it out. We always have.
Oh, we will. I'm just thinking it's going to be, like, really awkward at dinner time. And, like, any time that, like, conversation comes up and you two are just, like, broody and, like...
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, look! A fish! And we're just gonna jump
Broke
over
with
the
the
side.
fish, Winnie.
Splash. Winnie's gonna take a little quick swim, apparently.
So for Acacia and Proximus,
the refugees have exited off of the gangplank of the Redemption, and before the two of you get off, you see that the hand is kind of hung back a bit of the Eve Walkers. They end up leaving as well. Curio Darius wait for Acacia, but with the officers standing by the gangplank again, as they are wont to do. Connery kind of puts a paw in Proximus's chest if you walk by him. He said, "Listen, son, I need you to get Scarlet and Winnie on board for this, because we've been sailing for far too long without a first mate, and I've heard rumblings that a lot of our gentlemen are not going to set sail again until they have one. So I don't care who it is. I don't care if you become a tyrant and make yourself one, but they would prefer a vote. So bear in mind that before we set sail and drag any of these keelboats anywhere, they're going to need a first mate, because that is the person that represents them to me."
Understandable.
Savvy? Fair.
Understandable. And is it the same way that the voting process, is it the same as the captain? Will I have to fight?
No. The captainship is earned by proving that you are
a fight. But
okay. It's a democratic vote. You don't have to be to fight your way in. That's to achieve captainhood, which is the highest thing you can be on a ship. You have to prove that you can stand against the rest of your ship and guide them with a strong hand. No, for first mate, the entirety of the crew votes. Sometimes it's a popularity contest. Hopefully, it's for who they think will represent their voice best. And that's why it's a vote. The first mate has to speak for the crew and have their interest even before my interests. That was my job. That's why I went to Callisto every time that I thought we would be going into a dangerous situation. That's why I told Callisto not to bring any of you on board. So it's also okay for a first mate to be wrong sometimes.
I don't think that you are
Almost a
wrong
compliment.
in that thought. Honestly, we did muck things up quite a bit, but we have noticed some of our changes and realized that there are things that we can do better. Hopefully, the crew has seen that also in our actions with all of these refugees. So I will table this with the crew, Scarlet and Winnie and Acacia also, so that we can all kind of figure out how to move about this now that we have another ship that we did not plan for. The four-letter word that everybody hates, plan. And so I think we should all talk about this, and you should have a voice also.
That's actually the thing I should not have in this, is a voice. I am the one person not represented by the first mate, and that person should feel free to speak against me at any point. So I will be fortunately sitting this one out.
We will form a union and we will talk to you later. Thank you.
Also, Proximus, bear in mind, sometimes it gets difficult when you get certain factions and people just want to vote for themselves. So, also, with the addition of a new individual, another first mate, I would be careful of this Ash character and be wary of his intentions if he chooses to become first mate.
I actually don't trust him either, so we are of like mind on that one.
I don't trust anyone.
Oh. I thought we were friends. I take offense by that. But I will work on that. Thank you very much, Captain. And
He
he
just kind of
comes
nods at
to
you.
like a small
Friends?
salute. He like attention and about face, and saunters off down the. Why do all my characters saunter? He is not sauntering. He is stepping very firmly and trying to find Acacia, wherever Acacia is.
Acacia
There you
is-
go.
She-
I don't live on the other ships, so you can probably easily find me. Unless the weather's really bad, I spend most of my time on deck.
on deck. Yeah.
Like, it's big
So-
enough for me to go downstairs, but, like, I just don't all the time. Because it's nice out.
Acacia, I think we should find the rest of everyone.
Well, they should be getting off the Bloodhound, shouldn't they? So let's just look in port.
I would like to go find them before we go into port myself.
Derek, may I do a perception check to see if I can spot him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go. My perception is ridiculous. Let's go. Oh, nope, I just rolled poor. I got a 14. But I'm also looking for a blue sea elf and a siren.
Those would be easy to spot. You can
With a flying were-shark contraption.
yes. And you would absolutely see where the Bloodhound docked. So you would definitely be able to see that. The other thing I want to ask, Proximus, are you wearing your armor into port?
I don't believe that I have any other clothes. So yes, I would.
You have the clothes that you wore in Korra. So you have the swashbuckler's fine clothing.
You do.
So you have like you have the coat, the trousers, and kind of like the tunic that you chose not to wear the armor in Korra because there's like thieves everywhere and it's fancy. So
I think Connery gave
just
them
checking.
to you to like not.
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
conspicuous.
Trosho dug some stuff out of the. You didn't get the frilly dress. You got the swashbuckler's outfit. I literally just watched that scene.
So I'll doff my gear and stow it, and then I put on the fancy pants, and then I would have a shirt on, an undershirt, but unbuttoned, because I see a lot of people doing that because it's warm.
Of course,
It's breezier, and so I keep it unbuttoned so you can see kind of my chest tattoo now that I have.
Easy breezy, beautiful Triton man. Wonderful, great. So okay, you all make it into port then. The ships have all docked. They have been for the most part emptied. Any ship leaves just a couple of people behind. You see Connery stays behind, and you assume there's going to be watches probably between he and Sammy. There are a couple of sailors on the Bloodhound volunteer to stay behind. The keelboats emptied. None of those people are staying on that ship for a second longer. Are you all heading in? To kind of again give a description of where you all are. There's the kind of like fisher village around you. So there are fishermen kind of working on nets. There are some buildings built into the side. You see that there are some shacks that probably represent what would be shipwrights and other kind of immediate supply stations as well. Are you heading to any of those right away, or are you going to the Inner Iris?
Proximus, is there something you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to make sure we are moving together. I feel a little separation from anxiety from not being together with the people that I've traveled with for a very long time. So I was just wondering if we were going to meet up and then go into wherever we're going. I don't know.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I could stretch my legs. Anyway, I
Absolutely.
see them over there. I'll start trotting to the other two, Winnie and Scarlet.
Yeah.
Winnie is soaking wet, coming up out of the water, like next to the gangplank coming off the ship. Probably with little Jeffrey just like hovering nearby, Probably with like a little towel, like a dish towel, because he can't probably carry like a big towel. I should probably check how much he can actually carry. That's a tool that will come in handy later.
Beach towels are heavy.
Beach towels are heavy. Totally worth it, but so heavy. Hi, friends.
Hello,
Scarlet,
Winnie.
look, it's our friends.
Scarlet is like completely like captain garbed out. Like original-esque Scarlet that Proximus and Winnie would have met. Just looks a little just very ready to not be on a ship. Just small wave.
Proximus wanted to find you too.
Aw,
The-
hi, Proximus.
Hi. So I did have something that I wanted to talk about. Connery made it very clear that the Redemption needed a first mate. Now that the two of you are gone on the Bloodhound, the crew is not happy with not being head. This is something I had never heard of or even thought about before. So, what are your thoughts?
Why don't you do it?
Yeah. Last thing we need is a mutiny.
Connery seems to tolerate you better than he tolerated me.
You are a Triton of the people.
The people's Triton. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
You're
Right.
never
That makes
ready.
it perfect.
Listen, most people in charge don't like being in charge. And those are usually the best ones that are good at it.
You're never
I
going to
see.
be ready. Sometimes you just have to do it.
What he was saying was that there would be a vote among the crew to
I'd
see
vote
who.
for you.
Thank you, Lenny.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the other crew would see that I would be a good voice for them, as Connery put it.
Well, you mean the other crew, like on the Bloodhound, the other crew? Because they already have a first mate.
Oh no! He also said he does not trust Mr. Ash.
That makes two of us.
That's
don't
why
think
it should be
I think that's
you.
three of us. So
Trusts
yeah.
easily.
Okay.
Does this mean I trust
Well,
him?
if you have confidence in me, then I shall put my name in the hat, as they say.
You know, you could ask the crew what they want.
Could do a little schmoozing.
Listen,
Yeah, I mean, don't listen to everything they say because sometimes people want things that aren't good for them. But it's good.
But
to
who
know
am I
what
to
they're
judge
thinking.
what they? Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Also,
I will bring it.
if it goes down to a vote, you're not the only one on the ship. There are plenty other crew members. You got
Right.
Jojo and Honey. Oh, I don't know how they'd take to it, but like,
Or even Sammy.
or Sammy. And plenty of people who are still making their names known. Some of who are very personable that came from Korra.
Right.
Maybe let's not recommend Sammy. Sammy seems a little nervous.
It was just an
Wouldn't
example.
want to. Yeah.
He's been in a lot of. He's had a lot of trauma. So
I want him to
yeah.
jump ship. It's very nice.
He is very nice. I just think that it's good to kind of get a feel. I mean, it's good to do this whether you're first mate or not, but just kind of get an idea of what the crew is thinking. You know, because if one person is like, "Oh man, this sucks," then you're like, "Better keep an eye on that person." But if everyone thinks something sucks, it's worth looking at.
Well, we have good reason not to trust him because they did attack us. They were flying the Nerian flag. They sold themselves to the Nerian Empire. Fuck that.
Not all of them. I mean,
And you know
the
what?
People
You
in
know what?
charge, though.
What
Yeah, that I
really
don't-
throws me about Mr. Ash is that we fought the captain and murdered him, and he was sitting in the captain's office, not doing anything.
Maybe you didn't like him.
I mean, Well, maybe he doesn't like us either.
He likes us enough to come back.
Hmm.
Or he doesn't like Umberlee's eye.
Yeah. Well,
Or he likes
He's-
us, I guess. That's the better hope.
so he asked to come back. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Exactly.
Okay. Did you have anywhere that you wanted to go, specifically? I'm along for the ride.
Go on land or go as our final
Oh,
destination
yes.
to help.
No, on land, yes. The immediate I am talking about here on the island. Yeah.
Lots of places to see and lots of things to do. If you haven't seen the eye, it's like looking into, you just have to see it. It's wild. Well, it's blue, but it's also
If you feel like being a tour guide, Winnie, I will take that tour.
excellent. Derek, is this the actual day of the holiday, or are we just close?
It is the day of, if any of you have been paying attention to the calendar.
Yeah. Hey, could I borrow at least one of you to help me move some stuff?
I literally pick things up and put them down for fun. Yes,
Yes.
I will help you.
I have this fancy belt for a reason, I guess. Sure.
I forgot
Okay.
how strong you are now.
Who wants to help me move some liquor then?
Also,
L-
speaking of
liquor?
Winnie, what is Jeffrey's strength modifier? Or what is his strength score? I'm sorry,
His whole ass strength score is
the whole last score,
not great. I'm gonna be honest with you.
and that is
It says 4,
wow.
which is a -3, and I feel like that's accurate and hateful at the same time.
So Jeffrey can carry 60 pounds.
Oh,
Still pretty.
Oh,
that's
even
really
with
good
a
for him.
That is
That's
is that his
carrying
light
capacity
load?
rules is carrying capacity is
Wow.
your strength score multiplied by 15.
Damn.
Oh.
Dang.
Strong little
Wow.
man.
Thank you.
And then
No
you have
problem with
if
a
you're somebody like
beach
Acacia
blanket.
who has like powerful build, you multiply that then by 2.
All right.
So, like, hold on. Let me do the math. I have a 20. It's by 15, you said?
Yeah, your strength score by 15. Yeah, I had a bugbear once that could like lift a planet.
630 pounds.
Yeah,
You-
that tracks.
dang.
And I can probably pull more.
Yeah.
Oh,
gosh,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
So, okay, so it's okay. I've got some cups that need carrying too, or like mugs. It's fine. We got this.
I'm sure
It's
between
not
all
far.
of us, we can help carry your liquor.
Thanks.
Are
As
you
the-
setting up shop? Yeah.
Oh no, it's just while we're here, and you know, it's sort of a day for celebrating, right? It's just my religion's custom to probably yeah, share in a congenial brew, and none of you seem to like my other like good brews that actually like do things. So I made alcohol.
I like when
I-
I know what they
Wendy?
do.
What's your religion?
I was thinking the same thing.
I've never seen you, you know, do the religion thing.
No, it's more sort of like a vibe. Like it's so Pantheomnia, the dwarven god of
Booze?
brewing, which is like my thing. Like I feel this kinship. So, I saw him once, and I was like,
Makes
a lot of
sense
sense to me. Exactly. So
We need to stop spending time together. We're getting on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
If you go
But you get it.
inland, I'll come with you. I need to pay some respects for All Gods Day too.
I need to go talk to somebody about being a wereshark. So
How is that going, Winnie?
I've been meditating.
Have you?
Meditating is good. I hear that's really good. And honestly, jogging I hear is also good for that.
But what about a reversal tonic?
Tea. GM, how have my research attempts been going?
Go ahead and roll me a artificer's alchemist check. Your alchemist tools.
Alternatively,
And remind me what you've
Scarlet?
been doing specifically.
Alchemist tools. Dear God.
Let's make that an intelligence check, and since you're proficient with it, you add your proficiency modifier.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how we typically do tools. So, and remind me what you've kind of been doing to make this antitoxin.
I believe we acquired information, right?
You got some information from Constance's books.
Stolen.
The shattered form of
Borrowed?
The shattered form of Jeffrey also grabbed some wereshark teeth.
Yes. So there's a lot of like Frankenstein's lab business going on in her current quarters, where she is taking one of the teeth carefully and kind of biologist style, like studying it and its like physical properties and like does it have like a venomy sort of thing or an excretion or what have you, and then also going through the notes, seeing if there's anything that pops out there. I'm sorry, I drank my coffee terribly. Depending on how cool Scarlet is with it, content warning, maybe she could just borrow a little bit of blood, just like a vial or 5.
As long as you're not taking it.
Like as long as I'm not the like phlebotomist, or like as long as I'm not leaving the room with it.
As long as you're not the one that's taking it from me.
Oh, that's probably wise.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm not trained in that sort of thing.
Find Constance and we'll talk.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what Winnie's doing with like.
Okay. So go ahead, and because you have so much kind of going towards that, roll your check with advantage. So it'll be an intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus with advantage.
That's my initiative. Hang on, I don't know math. 26 first, 24 second.
Okay, so 26 total. When Scarlet gets back, we will have her see if she'll take it, and then roll Constitution. So we'll work from there. Otherwise, anything else anybody wants to do?
Alternatively, if the tonic doesn't work, I'm sure there's some temples on the island. And we can see if there is a cleric who is capable of removing a curse.
Oh yeah, that's...
Sure.
Wait.
What?
Wait. We determined... It's not that easy, is it?
I'm
we're
making
there,
assumptions.
As you say that...
Remove curse. So for this type
That's
of
its own
lycanthropy,
spell, right?
okay,
Because
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like...
remove curse is its own thing. It requires a certain type of ritual, but you would kind of be in the place to do it. I mean, it's a holy day. You're near a shrine. It's not a bad time to consider it.
I am like in a flash of inspiration as you say that. I don't have remove curse, but I am going to probably wait until Scarlet gets back. Why? I don't even know why I have this prepared twice. Why do I have this prepared twice? What is wrong with me? I will lesser restoration Scarlet. Just
we're clicking off all the possibilities of what may or may not work before the full moon. One of them has to stick.
I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I mean, it
Also,
would restore her. Of course, it's not like a big restoring, but like it could help.
Also, to address to our audience the holiday that we've been kind of talking about, lots of conversation here. It is Pantheomnia, which is kind of what the Empire calls it. It is All Gods Day. And I'm going to retcon something I said, I think in the first episode of the season. Ignore that. I was an idiot. It is the 15th day of God's Crown, the month of God's Crown. So it is literally midsummer. We're not going to have any weird bear stuff or, any like flower body stuff. So you don't have to worry about that kind of midsummer. But it is literally the middle of summer. It is the day to celebrate all gods at its peak. Okay.
Maybe
are we heading in?
Like
we
an extra restoration if I use like my alcohol as like the component. Maybe that would be like a little boost.
Maybe if you get your alcohol blessed, you surmise that there probably would be dwarven shrines here, maybe even one to Henseath.
I don't know if
Can't hurt.
I can cast ceremony and bless your alcohol? ?
So we're, instead of
It says
holy
bless water.
it's gonna be holy alcohol.
Right.
Holy beer.
There is precedent within my religion for
I just
For
don't
holy beer?
think that's how it works.
That's definitely not how it works.
no, but
Almighty Samuel Adams,
it
look down
can't
on us.
hurt. I'm just saying. When Scarlet returns. But yes, I believe we are going to make our way
Into the inner eye.
into the inner eye, which sounds
Okay.
very like hardcore for what we're actually doing.
Right.
As you all head up these steps and into this tunnel, which is carved through the rock, you all have been standing and chatting here for a decent bit of time. So most of everyone else who's gotten off the ships have already passed well through that, or have found their way to doing something else along this beach. You see that there's some people who are just sitting in this beautiful white sand with this clear blue water, that they can see directly down into. But you all head up these steps, these slightly mossy steps, and through this verdant tunnel. And as you pass through on the other side, it is pure beauty and light. You can clearly see that the first person that saw this knew it was a divine place, as the sun seems to shine everywhere, but not in a blinding or way too warm sort of way. It's not too cool, it's not too hot, it's just so comfortable, and there's green and color everywhere with flowers blooming. And you actually notice as you walk through the far end of this tunnel, around your necks is a necklace of flowers. What we might call a lei, that just appeared. And you even feel on top of your head a flower crown made of these various flowers. Just as soon as you walk through that threshold, they appear on all of you. And you see that there are people everywhere. You can see that there are pathways cut circularly into this atoll that you can walk around, and steps that will lead you downwards. In the center of this blue hole, which you see that several people are just swimming in, and there are pathways which leads toward the center as well, is this stone area that has a small temple on it with several statues. And you can see built in all over the place are different shrines to this god or that, some smaller than others. Definitely at the center, you can see that Umberly is the focus. And there are other sea deities featured there as well. Winnie,
much to what you were just discussing, you see a rowdy group of dwarves all chugging out of like their own tankards and going into a cavern off to your far left. You can see that there are gnomes, there are goblins, there are even some kobolds who kind of seem a little frustrated. Plenty of human gods, and even as you look up, shrines that are built at the very top, which again you probably presume are towards the gods of the sky and the stars and the moon. Immediately when you walk through, you can see that there is this beautiful tavern, which is built off to your right, and you can see that it's kind of built with stilts onto, so that it's covering several layers and has kind of several floors to it as well. And you can see the sign that has been very intricately carved on it says the Holy Spirits. And so you see that is presented there for any of you who might like a place to stop. And you can see that there's a couple other, just like buildings, houses, whatever else, but the predominant inside area is a religious area and an area of shrines. So that is where we will take our break. I will let you all ponder where you would like to go. And for all of our audience, thank you for sticking around for all of our OBS issues. We appreciate you being absolute troopers about that. We are doing our damn best. And special thanks to Mayor for presenting us with a solution to that. So stick around, do the things. We will be back in just about 10 minutes. Thank you all.
Bye. And we are back from break, everybody.
Vast and welcome back, everybody.
Yay.
Tech issues abound. New headphones and everything. It's been a day, y'all. Okay, jumping back into it. You find yourselves now in the inner circle, if you want to consider it that, what is commonly called the iris of the god's eye, of Umberle's eye. And as you look down, it is this verdant blue, like really deep blue water that is kind of fills the inner circle of this atoll, and all this green and vibrant colors around you. All of you are wearing these flower crowns and flower necklaces that seemingly magically appeared on you as you stepped through the threshold to this inner area. Winnie has also described an alchemical mixture that might be a potential solution for Scarlet. So if Scarlet wants to drink that at any time, we'll roll Constitution against, I believe Winnie rolled a 26. Is that correct?
Yes.
High.
We'll
It
say
was
yes.
high.
Yeah.
It was 26 or 24.
Yeah, I remember it being an even number. Anyway, cool. So that is where we are. Where would you all like to disperse to?
I think I want to take a pit stop near to the Temple of Tamara.
Sure, Tamora being one of the main gods that is prayed to here. And also, I'm going to use this word, I don't mean it in a mean way. Tamora is the goddess of luck and of fortune, both in the sense of being fortunate, but also in the sense of gold. Tamora is the goddess of gold. And so when you go to her temple, it's easy to find. It is a large golden statue of this beautiful woman with a hand out that seems to be dripping coins. The coins almost magically maintained in air, and so that, yeah, very easy to find. It's not one of the main central ones, but it's at the far end of the island from where you are, and it's kind of gleaming in the sunlight.
Yes, so I would walk in. It's probably a pretty crowded one, isn't it?
It has, so people are definitely paying their respects today. A big thing on the Pantheomnia is for people to leave little gifts for their gods, and especially here in the God's Eye, a common gift is flowers. They're everywhere, and also just kind of
it's a beautiful thing. So these laurels are being laid at her feet, but also you see as you get closer, she's standing in the center of a wishing well, sort of, not a well, but like one of those wishing fountains, and people are passing by and flipping a coin in. And you can see, even as you kind of come up on it, the bottom is covered in coins of all types: platinum, gold, some rarer ones you might not even recognize as your typical, like, silver, copper, gold, platinum stuff. No, that doesn't exist. I don't subscribe to that bullshit.
Maybe that's why it's rare.
Maybe that's why it's rare. There are very rare coins. There's coins like orichalcum, which were mined in the now gone Orcish kingdoms of the far north. There's moonstone, which is mined from long fallen meteorites and is typically used in elven kingdoms. You can see a couple of those in there as well. And typically it's people, there's a few that are kind of standing there making their prayers to Tamora. They're typically prayers of want, of things they would like to have, or of fortune for themselves or others. And you also see some people there that are somewhat look to be down on their luck. Tamora is also a goddess not only of fortune but also of charity, because the more you have, the more you should share, is a tenet of the faith. And you can see that there are people there, and also a couple of clerics are walking around and handing some coins, kind of just like palming them kindly to these people who are praying and doing their due diligence. So that is what you see. But yes, there are people around. Kind of, it's not crowded in a sense, like people are respecting each other's personal space. But you will have people walking by, flip a coin in, say a little prayer, move on.
Yes. So I am carefully making my way through whatever size crowd this is, making sure not to bump anyone. And I will head over to the wishing well, like probably many, many others. And like many others, I will flip a coin in, but I intentionally turn around and throw it over my shoulder without looking. And then pause for a second and then make my leave.
Are you willing to share what Acacia prayed for?
Acacia doesn't pray. It's more so... Not, this isn't the right way to put it, but more of like a, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, but just like passing respectfulness. Like, out of all the gods, you're the one I have respect for. Absolutely. She's not really wishing for anything, but more so just hoping everything turns out okay, if you so design.
Well, and the symbolism of Tamora having your back as you've turned it to her. You may use the blessed feature for the rest of the day. So you may add that D4. You are blessed by the goddess of fortune.
I also want to do another blessing later for another god, but like they are not a well-known god. I don't think they have a shrine here.
You might be surprised, but we'll do that when you see fit. Okay, Winnie, what are you up to?
Aha! If I see dwarves who are potentially carousing, I would like to follow them into their cave. Which sounds like a terrible plan when I say it out loud.
So, having walked through this entrance and having the holy spirits to your right, you can see that there is a band of dwarves that are exiting that, thoroughly sauced, and they're all just shouting, "Tamaradan! Tamaradan!" And they are marching forth towards where you saw the other dwarves kind of going into that cavern. So you may very well follow them if you would like.
Didn't you also say there were like little kobolds that are in this little area that are upset?
There's kobolds a few layers down that look a little frustrated. Yeah.
Okay, well I have, I gotta check on the kobolds.
Okay.
So you may definitely climb some stairs down, and you find yourself near the kobold shrine.
I feel like that's better to do whilst I am sober if there's climbing involved. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And yeah.
Hi. Hello, I'm Winnie.
So Winnie, what you see are a number of kobolds who look similar in coloration. They have these gray backs to them, slightly almost maroon kind of bellies, and they all have yellow bands.
Are there 5 of them?
I don't get the reference.
Okay, that's probably for the best.
Why would there be 5?
Well, I just
Oh,
wondered
Maroon
maybe...
5. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Yeah, we were literally watching American Horror Story Season 2 with, what's his name in it? Anyway, there's a small group of them.
Okay.
And you kind of lose count, as tends to happen with kobolds, because as soon as you think you have a count, another one pops up or one disappears. But they have these 2 yellow bands all on their left arms. Which you kind of know is the one singular thing. Like all of their kind of like patches and different are different. Their clothing's different, but the yellow bands, which they all feature.
Do I recognize the band? Might I recognize the band?
You might.
Does Jeffrey recognize the band?
Jeffrey would not. Jeffrey is new to this world. Go ahead and roll history.
My special little boy. Ho ho. 18.
You might actually. This would mark them as members of a pirate ship you've heard of. You can't remember the name of it, but the yellow bands is kind of what they go by.
Are they like super mean, or do I've
not
heard
super
of them
mean?
around?
They're kind of known for being an all kobold pirate ship. So there's a lot.
I
of
love them, Your Honor.
Sustained. Okay, you say hi.
I do.
One of them kind of turns back. Hal.
Hi. I'm sorry. I'm Winnie. I was up there and I saw that you looked a little frustrated, and this is a day for celebrating, and I wondered if there was anything I could do.
All God's Day is rough for kobolds.
Oh no! Why?
Well, our main god, how do I put this? Got fucked over a long time ago.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it
By
sucks.
who?
Garl Glittergold.
Oh, fuck that guy. Sorry.
That's why kobolds don't have any luck.
That is not what I was expecting to hear, and I am very. That is a bigger systematic issue, I feel.
Yeah.
And
We just pray to him in the hopes that he'll find his way out of the infinite labyrinth created by the god of gnomes.
Is there anything to be done? Like,
You can help pray.
I could. Would that help? I'd be happy to.
Mm-hmm. You could leave something to help him find his way out. And then kobolds can rule the world.
Is there like a little shrine or something?
Yeah. There is a shrine. Do you speak Draconic?
I speak
I'm gonna
Tinker
shit
Tools,
myself
apparently.
if you do.
No, I chose Abyssal instead, so that's helpful.
Well, this is the shrine to Curdlemac. And he shows you a shrine with a magnificent looking kobold on it who looks like a little confused, kind of like looking at their palm and scratching their head.
Okay.
And you can see that kobolds have left different little trophies, like animal skulls, gold coins, flowers, of course. Some of them have left maps, which you can see is kind of a
customary gift to Kurtlemek, in the sense that if Kurtlemek gets as many maps as they can, perhaps they could somehow piece them together and find their way out. Some of them have put down solved puzzles.
Oh. Okay. What does he really like? Like, do you know, like, what did he like to do before he was sealed away? Besides help kobolds, obviously. I would hope he would help you before he got sealed away, because...
Dominate in battle, befriend dragons,
That's good.
attain as much material wealth as possible,
Okay.
feast on the bones of his enemies.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. What is his favorite, besides probably gnomes, I'm guessing? Does he have a favored enemy?
I would have to pray on that. Our
That's fair. Okay.
Yes, our religious texts do not speak to his favorite enemies. For kobolds could dominate all if
Oh, well,
our god
certainly.
wasn't imprisoned.
Yeah. No, that's a real shame. Let me see here. Hold this, please. She's gonna hand her bag to little Jeffrey, who's gonna just like hold it open for her. He's just like hovering there, just being a good little.
Oh, she hands her back to Jeffrey. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense, but it seems unwise to just hand her stuff over to a random kobold that she has only just now met. She is going to remove a candle.
We have that.
And they're pointing at Jeffrey.
We have that.
No, he's sort of his own little thing. And he's my friend, and he kind of stays by me. And he's I don't think he really has picked a religion yet. I don't know if that's
Okay.
really his thing.
Feel free to say no to this. Would
Okay.
you be willing to be subjugated and sacrificed for the greater will of Colonel Mac?
Well, let me think about it. I appreciate where you're coming from with that.
Uh-huh.
And I can see the benefits.
Absolutely. Really no downsides if you think about it. Win-win.
Yeah, no, for real. How about we put a pin in that?
In
Which is a
what?
saying that
Oh,
doesn't
you want
really
us to-
make any sense in this world. Now that I think about it.
You can't
But
put pins
what
in
if,
things? What?
yeah. What if we just like put that on hold? Like, I will dedicate my death when it comes to Colonel Matt. But not like today, because I actually made other plans with my friends.
We'll
and
pencil you in. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
So not a hard no, just like a not now.
No, it's fine. Your soul belongs to Colonel Mac now.
That's fine. Okay. So she's gonna take her candle and she's gonna push a copper into it. And then she's gonna carve like little bones into the candle. It's not a very big candle, and she's not a very good artist probably in this particular medium. But she's gonna carve a couple bones, and then like she's gonna carve an angry goblin face, but with like a circle and like a line through it, like boo, Garl Glittergold. And then she's gonna set it like by the altar, and she's going to kind of rub her fingers over the wick, and she's going to use her magical tinkering to imbue permanent light until she dies onto this candle. And she'll be like, look, this candle is my offering to actually no, here, like hand me your hands, and we can pray on this.
And this like 2-foot tall kobold puts up their scaly little clawed hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're filthy.
That's fine. Do you really think Winnie cares? I wish Winnie cared. Okay. Colonel Mac, the brave and the wise. I mean, probably kind of wise, but also you kind of got trapped, so I don't know how wise that is. But
Fair.
very, very brave, and the best protector of all kobolds. I offer you this candle to hopefully light your way in the dark and guide you out of your never-ending darkness maze. Do you happen to, like, is he trapped in a place? Is it like a different plane, or like is he just in a cave somewhere? Do you have like a...
Our religious texts say that Glitter made an entire other existence that is an infinite labyrinth of ever-changing tunnels and portals, and that Colonel Mac will never find his way out, but on the day that he does, kobolds will dominate the world and all of existence.
I mean, that's fair. That's a good text.
And Colonel Mac shall have his revenge on all the divine for locking him away.
Also fair. So Colonel Mac, here's the deal. Hopefully this candle helps light your way, at least some of the way. Doesn't have to be all
He
the
has
way.
dark vision, but sure, that's fine. We've had worse. And
Yeah.
they'll kind of snatch the candle away and plop
Yeah.
it down.
And if the light goes out, you know I died and dedicated my soul to Colonel Mac. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
I hope that cheers up your day a little bit.
okay. Thank you, Rennie.
Yeah.
Your
I'm sorry,
offering is sufficient.
I didn't catch your name.
Smeckletak.
It was very nice to meet you, Smeckletak. I hope to see you again sometime.
Who knows?
Who knows? Any way the wind blows. Doesn't really matter.
Winnie, consider yourself blessed for the rest of the day. I will actually we'll style it this way. For the rest of the day, you are blessed, but there's going to be a flavor to it. So, Mare, Acacia having gone to Timora, you have the lucky feat for the rest of the day. Winnie, you have advantage on solving puzzles for the rest of the day.
Excellent.
So basically an intelligence advantage.
Excellent.
Okay. Before we get to your dwarven deal, where's Proximus headed? If any.
Oh, Proximus. I think I want to look at all of the different shrines as I walk through. Kind of looking at the different ways that these individuals are praising their gods. This is the first time that Proximus has seen praise given to anything but the Great Queen Mother.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
He would be just watching everybody as they go about their. Sorry, I looked at chat. Thank you. Break character. All right. But I would like to watch how everybody is giving their thanks to all these different gods, and then look for the Prasanna deity that he had been reading so much about, and maybe looking for other tritons that he has never seen before.
Sure. So you go walking around. You can see that the highest level where you it's kind of like 2 levels above where you are now. That's where the statue of Timora was. That's where the tallest statues are. So as you kind of walk around, you can see those even from afar. You see that there are statues to, and this would be in common, the god Helm, which you can see that there are a number of soldiers and paladins, these beings who are wearing armor and carrying various weapons that seem to be kneeling before this statue of this heavily armored knight bearing this massive greatsword with his head, kind of held down in this sentry position. You can see that there is a statue to Lyra, who is the goddess of joy, and there are people just kind of casting flowers at her and doing dancing, and you can see that there's a couple of bards, hired or not, seem to be playing this kind of joyous music.
A little further away is Azoth, the god of wizards. And you can see that there are a number of robed individuals and individuals who are holding their tomes out and kind of pressing them against the hand of Azoth, who is holding it downwards to get their spell books blessed. And it goes on and on. You see that there are goddesses of the moon. Selûne has this beautiful statue at the very top, kind of around the outer edge. Sylvanus, the god of wild nature, this being who has these animal hides that are being presented to him. Tyr, which is the exact opposite, like clockwise from where Helm is, and is another god of protection, almost in a different sense. You can see that there are less armored individuals, almost like watchmen, who seem to be going to him. Joaquin, which is a really popular one here because it's the goddess of trade, and you can see that there are several merchants who have kind of stopped there. On and on and on. You don't see Persona around the outside, and as you go further and further and further down, you realize that if they were going to be anywhere, they would be in this inner circle, this inner part of the eye in the center of this blue hole, where a lot of the other sea deities seem to be. And whether you swim across or walk across the walking path that has been made, this boardwalk that's been made, because there are plenty of people who are swimming there. It's a way to praise the gods and goddesses of the seas, to swim to them in the first place. And you can see in the center is this fearsome visage of Umberlee, this beautiful and horrifying woman who seems to have control of sea and storm, and people are presenting the plinth beneath her with seashells and coin, and again flowers, but fewer flowers and more things that you would find in the ocean, even like driftwood and former treasure. There is a literal treasure chest which has been placed at her feet, almost these bribes to this goddess whose will is so fickle as the oceans themselves. And as you look around, there's a number of other gods here as well. Let me get those pulled up. Ocean deities. My computer's going to be slow. There it is. No, it's not. So you kind of look around and you can see that there is the god of the sea elves, Deep Seychelles, which is this elven god. You can't really tell god or goddess, as happens a lot with elven deities. A lot of them have androgynous features by design, because elven gods really don't subscribe to a gender binary. And Deep Seychelles is this gorgeous, handsome sea elf with dolphin kind of figures carved into it. There is Sekola, which is an interesting one to feature here, but that is the Sahuagin god of sharks. And polar opposite, you can see this. It's not actually the image of a shark. It is the jaws of a giant, like megalodon-sized shark, the actual jaws, which have been placed on display, and people are leaving shark teeth and all different types of little, what do I want to say, horrific trinkets for this individual, skulls even. You see a couple of more, but then you spot the very familiar image of a Triton. And let's go ahead and switch over music here, because it's a little too lighthearted for what is. There we go. So Proximus, as you walk into this circular temple of these gods, and you see Umberlee, and you see Deep Seychelles, and you see all of the other gods, at the far end is a statue of this very handsome Triton. And he has a trident in one hand, and he has his other hand kind of presenting out this beautifully kind of carved seashell. And the intricacy of the seashell, just this conch shell, continually wrapping around itself over and over, the beauty of what can come from the natural world and the geometry of it fully encapsulated.
And he looks upwards, almost as if a Triton at the bottom of an ocean might look upwards at what might be potentially above them. And only 1 foot of this webbed figure is actually on the plinth. The other is raised as if they are swimming that way. And even the plinth itself has carved into it these intricate designs and images of buildings and constructs. The concept of making and creation fully built into what this entity is supposed to represent. And you don't see many offerings here. A flower crown or two, a couple of carvings. People have left little things that they have made. But you don't see any Tritons around. And it's definitely one of the smaller statues out of the other ones that are presented here.
And these are set in the water, but raised above the water.
Yeah, so if you think of like the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C., I'm not sure if that helps. It has columns all around the outside, so it's I know there's a name for it and I can't think of it. It's essentially open air, with columns being the only thing to hold the roof up, no actual walls. And yeah, just this, it's in the center of the water, but not underwater itself.
Proximus is going to take off his shirt and wade into the water, swimming up to the deity and realizing that he has also looked the exact same way, looking up towards the surface, always wanting to know what is above. And now that I am here, realizing that he might miss being down below before again. And all the things that have happened and all the ambitions that he had for life were all just a hoax, a false dream. And he's going to realize that there are many more things out in this world that he does not know. And he's going to cast a ceremony on himself. And he is going to pick atonement. Realizing that there are a great many things that he has done that he is not proud of. And serving a god that was not really a god.
All right, so Proximus, you take the time. I believe ceremony takes an hour, and you sit in or stand and swim even in front of this statue. The statues themselves are somewhat separated out, so you can almost swim around them. The Umberly one having like this natural fountain, again, separating her from the rest of the marble structure, to where people can leave things to float for her or to sink. You take the hour and you sit in the silence of your own mind, thinking about where you've been, thinking about what brought you there. And the hour goes by, but you hope to hear a voice in your mind. It doesn't come. You hope that you will feel different, but you feel the same. And on a technical sort of level, your spell failed. We're going to cut over to Scarlet. It's getting later in the day for at least where Proximus says. We can pick up exactly where we picked up for everybody else with Scarlet. So, Scarlet, where are you heading?
I am heading to the goddess of healing. If I can talk, the goddess of healing.
That's the goddess of the Kuatoa.
The goddess of healing, Mikyl.
Mikyl. Okay. Mikyl would be on one of the lower levels. This being a deity from Dragonlance, but that's fine. All gods are welcome. You can absolutely head down to it's like the next level lower to you, same level as like Cardleback. And when you get there, you notice that there are a number of people standing around who all seem to have their own. Some bear obvious injuries, but you very well know that not all injuries can be seen. Not all illnesses are evident. And as people go by and they press their face into the place where her feet are, and it seems that she is reaching down with open hands, and they present flowers, and there are clerics nearby to present what healing they can, what restorations they can. You can see even as it's kind of middle of the day, at this point, they're getting tired, but they're doing what they can. And there's almost a line that's formed. Other people are sitting on benches to kind of, rest a little bit and just take in the beauty of the statue. But you see that before you. What would you like to do?
Is there a part that is less crowded? Like a little side area that no one's kind of hanging out in? Hang out in the shadows?
You can absolutely do that. There is kind of this half circle that protects a lot of people from, it's an overhang that protects a lot of people from the sun. That's where the benches are. And it kind of like faces back towards the water because a lot of people who come here are in sensitive conditions and can't wait in line the whole time. And you see that there's a cleric going about and doing their blessings, doing their healings. But there are definitely darker corners that you could stand in as well.
I just like to kind of slink into a dark corner and take out the concoction that Winnie has made and just hold it. We didn't have any gods on the Finn. Don't think you would be the god that we would have there anyway. But I don't know what else to do. And I have to trust Winnie. But maybe you can help a little bit here too. Scarlet will hang out there for a second, just holding this bottle. What color is this, Winnie?
I rolled okay on it, right? So
You did. It's still made with like wereshark teeth and Scarlet's blood.
right,
Oh.
right. But, so it's not big, and you'll be happy to know it's not the same kind of vial that like she carted your blood off in. It's just like a little round, almost shaped like a little perfume bottle, with just a little cork stopper, nothing fancy. And it's a dark gray, that kind of swirls with almost like a mica dust, that shimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while there's a little fleck of gold, and sometimes a swirl of something darker. Like even if you're not moving it, it kind of moves on its own. Don't worry about it, it's fine. They usually do that.
So many of your potions move on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You leave them long enough, they become sentient.
It's a trick I learned in college.
Scarlet, roll a religion check.
At least it's not a negative. 17.
Okay. As you're standing there in the dark, presenting this
antidote to this deity. And see people are walking past, praying to this deity. Some of them missing limbs, some of them with a very clear recent injuries, some of them in bandages. There's a person not too far from you lying on a bench, sweating, coughing as someone tries to tend to them with a cool rag. These people who are in rough shape, who have nowhere else to turn to. And around all of this sorrow, you feel hope. Not only for yourself, but for them. And from behind you, you feel a soft hand on your shoulder. And standing behind you is a smaller elvish woman. So her hair kind of in a side braid. It's this silverish blonde. And she says, "I'm really sorry to disturb you. Is there anything I can help you with?"
No, I don't think so.
Would you at least care for a blessing for yourself or for this, perhaps for someone else? It's free. It's what I'm here for.
Can you bless ships?
I can, actually. It's not my specialty. But if your ship has a fever, perhaps.
I think we just need a little bit of extra help. A little bit of extra hope on these ships. We got a lot of people who need a new home.
I understand. She goes to move her hand towards your forehead and kind of stops. May I?
Of course.
And she presses just 2 fingers to it, and she says, "Scarlet Shores, you are doing good in this world." And she puts her hand down on the vial. And as she does, your eyes close. And when they open, she's gone.
I will uncork the bottle, and I will drink the entire thing.
Okay. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
I'm going to use one of my advantages.
Okay.
It's a 2.
I didn't say if you wanted to roll well or not.
You do also have a crit. I will just...
I have 2 crits, actually.
Yes.
No, that one was fine. That would be a 22.
Okay. For the first time in almost 2 weeks, you don't taste blood in your mouth. And you don't feel an ache in your bones. Whether you're cured or not, you're still not sure. But there is a peace you haven't felt. Maybe ever. Winnie. Actually, well, let's go ahead and circle back around. So this is Acacia. Acacia, what other shrine did you want to visit?
I want to look for a shrine specifically towards the Moirae, which in Greek mythology are the 3 fates.
Ah, yes. Okay.
I don't know if they would be here.
Let's see. 3 in religion is an interesting number. It presents itself in a number of religions as being important, whether you were talking about the Morrigan in Celtic mythology, whether you're talking about Cerberus and the number of heads that he has. You look around and there are definitely statues which feature imagery of 3, but very much as Tamora herself being a goddess of fate, You reason the fates might be nearby. And as you look around, we're going to do any checks for this because they exist. You find a small alcove, which almost built into it is a triangle with these three pillar-like statues of women, all facing downwards, all with a hand outstretched, meeting in the center, like a triangle themselves, with a single eye facing down. And there is a like circular, like bowl on a smaller column, about chest height for an average human. And you can see that within are not coins or flowers, but are folded pieces of paper.
I would like to walk up to this bowl and actually kneel down so I'm more on of like actually my chest height
Sure.
for the bowl, since I am extremely tall. And for a couple long minutes, I'm just staring into the bowl and at the statue. And I inhale and I sigh. Tomorrow is also fate, but also more so luck. Luck is both good and bad. But I just hope that whatever path I am on, it's the right one. And out of my bag, I want to take out a small hand mirror and the Elder Shard. And I would like to use Mirror of the Past on the Elder Shard. You're muted.
I'm sorry. Also, I might have been conflating the eye thing with Hercules, because those are also the witches from Theseus. We're going to say the eye is still there, but also there is a thread that is kind of interlocking between all of them as well. But absolutely. You may use the Mirror of the Past on the Elder Shard. So you pull out this forearm-sized Elder Shard that at one time split into 4 and empowered you and your crewmates. You hold the mirror out, knowing that it needs to reflect off of the object, but also look through it. As you do, you see into a blanket of black. Small twinkling dots begin to appear. And you know that you yourself are seeing from the point of view of the shard as the image begins to turn, and you look down onto this blue sphere. Your home. The world of Damaris. And it's when you begin to look at this spinning sapphire of beauty with bits of green dotted across it. You've perhaps seen what no other mortal being has ever seen, and it takes you a second to realize what you're looking at, because you've seen maps, sure, but the way the clouds move across, you can see a hurricane forming in the Sea of Eternal Tempest as the world spins. It's when the image begins to turn, however, back out to that blanket of space, that you can see that there is something far out there obscuring those twinkling dots, those far-off stars. You see something undulating through this infinite night, this void. You see these tendrils of blackness reaching out. And they reach out for you, for the shard. And in a flash of light, they retreat. And the last thing you see before the mirror ends this image is the coloration of a color you've never seen before, a color you have trouble defining, shifting in and of itself, with tendrils and teeth and eyeless horror.
And I think as I'm having this vision and staring into the mirror, I instinctively just pull that shard close to my chest, protecting it. And I don't notice. I'm too absorbed in the mirror, staring at it. If anyone was looking at me, I think they would see my coat of my horse half shimmer black and blue with the color of the sky and stars before turning back to its white and russet brown.
And as you look up from the mirror, you can see that the statues of the Fate with this eye in the center of this threaded weave has gone from looking down into the bowl to looking directly at your face. And the Fates themselves, the statues have moved to hands covering their eyes.
Are they trying to tell me something specific?
Only the gods know.
With that omen, I give one final prayer to the Moire, and I'll hurry back to meet with the group.
Okay. Winnie. Oh, no, that's too heavy for Winnie.
I was about to say, no, not that song.
Winnie's song. There it is. Light and happy. You go chasing off after some dwarves?
I sure do.
Okay. So Winnie, you go racing back up the steps to catch up with the dwarven troop, which really hasn't made it that far, because every time they take 10 steps, one of them falls over and they take a long time because they're all in heavy armor to pick him back up. They're tripping over their beards. Like I said, fully sloshed. It's a dwarven holiday. But eventually you all make it to this cavern. Standing on either side of this archway, this very well-carved archway, are these beautiful dwarven statues, both kneeling with these halberds in one hand, and kind of like almost like the Thinker, but with the fist against their forehead. And the archway has the keystone is the face of a bearded dwarf with like the mouth open. This kind of like Grecian Art Deco sort of look to it. A lot of sharp edges. And you go into this cavern, which has torches lining the wall, and it's beautifully carved. And you can tell that the carvings have been made by dwarves over the years, if they have gone further and further in. And as you walk in, you can see that there are carved into the walls themselves different dwarven gods. You can see that there is Abathor, there's Laudaguer, there's Ragnar, there's Maya. They're all carved into the walls themselves with these beautiful kind of like inlays that have been added to and have had bits of gold and iron and platinum and silver and a dozen other metals added to them to make them even more beautiful. Are you headed straight for Henstieth?
I'm wandering strongly in that direction, unless there's something that like catches my eye. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking it all in. Like this is exciting for Winnie to make new friends and see exciting things, and remember that absolutely abandoned Proximus after she was going to show him the eye. I feel like we all kind of split at the same time, but yeah.
The beauty overtook you, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you can see the dwarves are stopping along the way, almost immediately sobering up, but there is a jovial hollowness to the way that they are presenting this. It is smiles, there are tears of joy as they're facing against their gods. At the far end is the full dedication to Moradin. You know, the massive carving of the dwarven father god and another god of creation and craft. But Winnie, you would spot at the far end, it kind of makes a T and you realize as you're walking through that this cavern is the shape of a hammer. And it's as you're walking through, you can see that you hear the sound of liquid hitting like dirt. And you're like, oh no, are they peeing themselves? But as you look over, a group of dwarves have kind of gotten in a circle and have clanked their tankards together and then poured out a little bit. And then presented it to the statue and then walked away. And easily you can see that this is the statue of Hensieth, which the ground is thoroughly dampened by dwarves passing through and pouring whatever alcohol they were drinking at the time at his feet.
Winnie will do in kind.
Okay. So you pass by, and one of the dwarves, not really looking where they're going, bumps like right into you. And I guess they're maybe like what, sternum height? And he goes, I'm very sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was distracted. I didn't see. I'm sorry.
What clan are you from?
Oh gosh, I don't have a clan really.
Oh,
I mean,
you're one of them.
I don't know what that means. I feel like perhaps I've said the wrong thing.
He kind of just, it's okay. I've been there. Not really. And he just kind of like pats you on the shoulder and goes walking off. The weird looking dwarf ain't got a clan. And goes off with the rest of his friends.
I'm an Evandriel.
And you kind of just, oh, that's all right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yep. All right. How many, like statistically speaking, how many dwarves to non-dwarves are there?
It's all dwarves. You're the only non-dwarf.
Dwarves all the way down. Okay.
Dwarves all the way down.
You and Jeffrey.
Medium?
You and Jeffrey.
Well,
Even Jeffrey is like knitting a beard for himself. Blend in, act natural.
Yeah, I think she's gonna go up to the nearest is there anyone who like looks vaguely officially religious? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are definitely dwarven clerics here. Again,
perfect.
in armor, but with these tabards. Most of them are bearing the mark of Moradin. That seems to be like the father god that all others spring from. But yeah, no, there are a few. They're kind of flanking the statue of Moradin.
I mean, I could roll for it, but like, I'm sure Winnie has a passing familiarity at best with anyone else. Like, that's not her jam. But she'll go up to the nearest cleric-y type person, and hi, I'm Winnie.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Winnie.
I realize how much of this was kind of based on my own way of doing things and just like vibes and feelings and stuff, but if it's not inappropriate, I brought kind of an offering for Hensieth. There's some alcohol upstairs. I couldn't like bring the barrel all the way down here by myself, but my friends kindly left it outside for me. I was wondering perhaps if I could get a little help bringing it in.
So when you were talking to what you've presumed to be a femme-presenting dwarf who has the dark black hair and this shorter but like very illustrious kind of knotted beard, and she's kind of she has her war hammer, like the hammer side on the ground, and she's kind of standing there at sentry attention. She goes, "Oh, of course, yes, no, that would be. We're very familiar with that type of offering to Hensieth, and I'm sure all of the other pilgrims here would be glad to help you celebrate appropriately." And she kind of leans past you and goes, "Aye, you lot! There's booze upstairs. Bring it down."
Oh, thank you.
And like they're shoving past it, like scurrying like rats out of a pipe
to get out of this tunnel and get the liquor that you have provided. And yeah, in moments they brought it back down. They're like carrying it over themselves, singing a drinking song, and yeah, they present it at your feet.
Perfect. Oh, well, it's not for me. I mean, I made it, so I...
It's not for me, they like again start scrambling. They tap the keg. They're already pouring it out.
Yeah.
And the one who bumped into you before, 3 cheers for the weird elf. And they give 3 cheers to Winnie.
Oh, Winnie is going to raise tankard that she brought from home because germs are weird, and she'll just say to old gods and to new friends.
Hey, and they get like Hail Clan Evendron.
Hey! Hail all your clans too.
They cheers again. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a strong suspicion Winnie is done for the evening. It's just gonna go downhill from there.
I'm not even gonna make you do Constitution checks. No Constitution if there's. Let's cut back actually to Proximus. So Proximus, you spent that time at the altar of Persona. You didn't get the result that you wanted. What do you do when you're done with that?
Proximus is going to there was an ornamental glaive that he had that Corvus had given to him at a very early age. A weapon of his own making. And at a celebration similar to this, they have every year called Queen's Day. And each one of the tribe makes a weapon and gives them to the younger generation. And this was given to me by Corvus, and I want to leave it here. So I lay it at the feet of Persona. And I leave it there only to show that my past is behind me. And the Queen Mother is no longer with me. So it is time for me to move on and find a new path.
Proximus, go ahead and roll me a religion check with advantage, please.
Oh, a natural 20. I will take that.
Okay.
Because the other one was a 5. For a total of 22.
So, Proximus, you feel what I can only describe as a pull somewhere else. This place suddenly feels cold, and you're not meant to be here. Almost like there is a warm breeze beckoning you somewhere else. Do you follow it?
I want to follow it.
As you follow this almost innately, like it's pulling on something deep inside of you in a way that is comforting, like you're walking the path home. You climb back up the steps all the way to the tunnel where you walked through, back out, looking out into what is now a setting sun out to the west. This beautiful ocean open before you. No islands in sight, just calm waters, not a cloud in the sky. These pinks and yellows and indigos of the setting sun. And you traverse down the stairs and find yourself just standing in the low surf, your feet in the sand. There are, of course, ships nearby off to your right. Some fishermen who are bringing in their fishing boats at the end of the day. What's going through your head right now?
There was a time in which I had never seen the sun before. I had never seen this view or the sea in this manner. I took for granted that there were so many beautiful things here. And I lived right below. I think of memories of when I've seen the sun go down many times before, and the things that I've been through since first seeing that first sun and that first sunset.
And as you're standing there looking out, you hear a voice from someone you didn't necessarily clock before. Are you doing all right over there? You really shouldn't stare at the sun. It hurts your eyes.
Yes, I'm just admiring the view, that's all.
And as you look over, you see a Triton man with a wide-brimmed hat and these very simple fisherman's clothes. His trouser legs are rolled up to be in the surf, and his sleeves are rolled up. And he is working on mending a net, which has been stretched out onto this frame. Okay, well, if you wanted to talk to anyone, I could use some conversation while I work on this.
Can I help you while we talk?
Sure. Have you mended a net before?
Many times.
And he'll hand you over one of the larger, bone needles to rethread through. If you work on that corner, I will work on this one. We'll meet in the middle.
Perfect.
What is your name?
Proximus.
Proximus. That is a good name. It's a strong name.
Thank you.
What
is your name?
What brings you to Umberlee's Eye?
I have lost my way. Found my way here through many friends and many battles.
Not much a compass or a map could help then, huh?
No, not at all, actually. We have plenty of those, and I've still not found my way.
Stuff to do sometimes. What made you lose your way, Proximus?
I was raised with one mindset, only one view in my entire life, and that was to become one thing that, when I became that thing, did not fulfill my life. So, here I am, trying to flounder around and figure out what it is that I am supposed to do with my life.
It's a hard thing to do. It's a scary thing to do. Not know what comes next. Well,
my life had been previously planned out for me.
That can sometimes be worse than not knowing what comes next.
It was easier that way. But now I find myself on this island where everybody is praising something, and I have nothing here for me.
Well, that is very sad, Proximus. In a world full of gods, it is hard to live without one looking over your shoulder. What I have found in life is that plan is a four-letter word. It is dangerous to have a plan. Much like fixing a net. I go from one problem to the next, and I don't worry what comes after that because I trust in what comes next. So maybe that's what you need to do, is work from one square to the next and hope that there is a path, one that you cannot see. I've lived a little bit longer than you, I think, and you can see that he is an older Triton than you. There's greens and blues, but faded, not in a way that your skin has faded, but like with age. Like there are little cracks in the chitin that you've seen with aged Tritons. But you seem like a very strong boy, and I have faith in what comes next for you.
I appreciate that. I don't usually have people around me that look like us. It is nice to.
It is one of the problems of the Tritons, is how insular they can become. Caring only for themselves or what's immediately around them. Again, to not have a plan is, I think it is a good thing, but not to be short-sighted in the way that they are. Faith is a scary thing, Proximus. And I think that there are many Tritons who have lost that faith. Perhaps rightly so. They're never forgotten, though. They're just hard to talk to.
Thank you for allowing me to talk with you.
Thank you for helping with the net and giving me some conversation. It is can be a mundane thing sometimes without someone to talk to. Where do you think you're going to go next?
I am following friends at this point.
You do have something to believe in, then.
They have been very instrumental in my change of heart.
Trust your friends, Proximus. They seem to be good people who are guiding you in a good way.
I didn't catch where you are from.
Oh, here and there. I guess like all people like us, originally from the elemental plane of water. I was one of the first to come over, actually. And you know, I will never get tired of seeing that sunset. He looks out and gives a smile to it.
Proximus looks towards the sun.
Don't ever give up on the things that make this world beautiful, Proximus. Someone put them there to be beautiful. And trust in what comes next. You're never alone in that. And when you turn back to face that voice, he is gone. And the net has been fully mended. And beyond it is a magnificent sand castle that was not there before. seven-tiered, a moat. And standing at the very center of the courtyard of this castle, sticking straight up in the sand, is your glaive. And as you get closer, you can see that there is glowing writing in primordial that appears on the shaft of it. And it says, "I think you might need this." And the tide sweeps in and pulls the sandcastle away. And that is where we are going to end our session. And Proximus, you may now consider yourself atoned.
Yay!
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you sticking around through all of our OBS bullshit. But a special thanks again to Mare for finding a solution for us and being allowing us to play the rest of this game without any further interruptions. So thank you again for sticking around. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to have these lovely people say a little bit more about themselves, where you can find them. We'll say a little bit more about the shows that are coming up very soon on Sword and Key. And then I will let all these people have a lovely rest of their weekend and or night. Well, especially night. Night first, then weekend. Whatever. Mare, go ahead. Take it away.
Oh, hi. Hi, I'm Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice every Saturday evening here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me playing Acacia on Horizon's Call. Right now, I am also going to be in a two-shot of a game called Follow Me Down on this coming Wednesday, the 18th, and the 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sword and Key. We will be part of the one-shots on the channel to raise money for Project Hope, and my scene partner will be at Valiant Dorian, where we play out a version of the story of Eurydice and Orpheus, but with our characters, which is very, very gay. I also, it was just recently announced in a very shitposty format, on February 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, my game of Invisible Sun will be released. The pending title at the moment is Too Invisible, Too Sun. Actual title will be announced sometime soon, along with the cast. Speaking of casts, I am looking for cast members over on Neon Lights Roleplay, where I'll be running a game of Print Weaver, which is a dark game based on the Souls game, where you are basically in a cycle of death and rebirth and shit's going to hell. So my casting call is on my Twitter. It is currently pinned on my my feed. So please, if you're interested and want to die a lot and maybe try and keep the world from being covered in ink and shit hitting the fan, consider applying. That closes this coming Thursday, the 19th. And I think that's all I got. I think that's everything.
Wonderful, Mare. Thank you. Thank you again for saving us from our OBS nonsense. Mikyl.
Hi, fam. It's so good to be back, and thanks for sticking around. You can find me at Mikyl Sandoval on Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. I do some art there. I post some things. And then I'm right here every Saturday. So, love y'all.
Beautiful. And a special thank you to Mikyl, as always, for the incredible artwork that Mikyl does for this game, for the Veesen game, for the one-shots, the prequel episodes that we have done. Mykyl's fantastic, and we always appreciate sharing the talent that he has with us. Kaila.
Hi, hello, my name is Kaila at Many Faces and Many Places in TTRPG realm, as well as painting and variety gaming on my own channel here on Twitch. You can mainly find me here right now. Other things are somewhat in the works-ish. Stay tuned. I'm live on my own channel on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We do art, we play games. Depends on how I'm feeling that day. There's currently a giveaway happening on my Twitter for a copy of Life is Strange True Colors in celebration of the Steph model that I finished and created at the end of last year. So if you are looking for a game that hits in all the right feelings and is a fantastic storytelling game that you are able to read and I don't want to say control emotions because you don't necessarily control them, but you can read emotions of other people's. It's amazing. It's wonderful. You can go enter. I will find the tweet somewhere in my desktop.
Good. The game is
True
so
Colors.
good.
True Colors is fantastic. It is beautiful. It is a stunning game that really makes you sit back and think about some things. So if you are interested in that, I will post the tweet that it is linked to below in the chat. But that is all I have going on right now.
Thank you, Kaila. Eva, my dear.
Oh, I wasn't even muted. I was looking for the tweet.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Eva. You can find me here. I am the other half of Sword and Key. We are I am theoretically producing one shot tomorrow, Exuvier, which is a playing card based system, which is exciting because I've never played one of those before, or run one. We will be doing Raccoon Sky Pirates next Sunday, and Derek will be running Paranoia the following Sunday. And as Mayor said, all of these go to benefit Project Hope with their Ukraine Crisis and Global Relief Fund. More information on that to follow. In terms of like incentives and all that sort of stuff. I have other projects in the works that aren't quite ready to be announced, I think, yet. And yeah, we Derek, I don't know if you are, I got really French there for a second. I don't know if you're going to be announcing the Discord. There is a command for it now. But yes, I'm pretty sure that's all I've got. I really look forward to a minute from now when I remember something else.
Hopefully I will cover it. So yes, thank you to my wonderful cast. As always, I am Derek Sword. I have been your GM for Horizon's Call and the weird god creator of Domaras, which I'm constantly struggling to keep up with creating. But it's been great having you all here. To give a little bit more details on the channel on Sword and Key. Personally, if you want to follow me, Twitter, dsword16, but I highly suggest you follow our channel at Sword and Key with sword and key, also are separated by underscores. Sword underscore and underscore key. Definitely follow that for all of the news to keep updated and all this stuff, because while I'm going to repeat what's already been said a couple of times, I'm not expecting you to write it down. So, again, we are benefiting, raising money to benefit Project Hope for the rest of the month through our one-shots. And, yeah, one-shots, and I guess technically Follow Me Down is a two-shot. So, again, we have Exuvier this weekend, run by Eva. We have Raccoon Sky Pirates next Sunday. And then we have Paranoia, run by myself, the following Sunday. Again, Project Hope is, let me read the actual script. Project Hope is a global health and humanitarian relief organization. We are specifically focused on raising money for the Ukraine Crisis and Global Relief Fund, which engages on delivering medical supplies, trauma care, and mental health support to Ukraine and Ukrainian refugees. The game's being featured again. Exuvier, Raccoon Sky Pirates, and Paranoia next 3 Sundays, respectively, at 10 a.m. Pacific. And Follow Me Down, which was run by Mayor, on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, this Wednesday and the following. And the campaign for Project Hope will continue throughout the entirety of the month, so feel free to donate at any time. If you donate in between games, whatever you donate will impact the following one. In the same way, where if you are donating to that, absolutely appreciate it. It's a fantastic cause. If you enjoyed this game and these players, again, definitely donate to our pally.gg. It evenly divides and directly benefits these players and our production staff. They work very hard. These players do an incredible job, as you just saw. So show your appreciation in a way that they can kind of feel a little bit more, because some of us lost our jobs recently and the economy sucks and whatever else. So if you can, please donate through Pally.gg instead of doing directly through Twitch. Obviously, if you do it through Twitch, it's great, benefits the channel directly, but we want to support our players first and foremost. We're not going to make, I don't think we're going to make necessarily an official like Twitter
post about OGL because there's plenty of people out there, and they're all saying the same thing. Basically, we stand with third-party creators, and we don't put up with this capitalist shutting down independent creator bullshit. So that's just where we are. The other thing, yes, definitely follow us on Twitter, but also we have a Discord which is opening up soon. There's plenty of great folks in there already who are in there for our beta. So you may absolutely join that. And hi, Joy. Wow, I had faces away. Hello, Joy. Good dog. Okay. I don't know what the nose goes is for.
Yeah, what are we?
You owe us a shanty. We had hype train.
Oh, see, I didn't have my computer's slower, so I didn't have anything pulled up.
True.
Okay. Well, let's see. Jones. Let's do. Since Winnie's going to be a drunken sailor, let's go ahead and do drunken sailor.
It's perfect.
Okay, I think I got through all of the business stuff. Yeah, follow the channel. We're growing. We would love to have you along for the ride. We can't wait to do more stuff. Okay, let me turn off pirates and princesses, which is very soft for otherwise. So Drunken Sailor is a classic, right? Everybody knows Drunken Sailor. I think it's a little, the original lyrics, not great. Shaving a man's nether region with a rusty razor, putting in bed with a captain's daughter. Not great elements to really throw out. Fortunately, the Longest John, so I've mentioned before, did another rendition, which I think presents another type of story to Drunken Sailor. I am tempted to have the rest of my cast actually do the bridge of What Do We Do with a Drunken Sailor, but that would be an audio nightmare for everybody.
We can't even say "and we're alive" and 10 candles in sync.
Exactly.
So.
There is no unison on Zoom. So let's see if we can do this here. I've been drinking mead the whole time, so let's see if I'm drunk enough for this. From Tortuga's nope, apparently not. From Tortuga's port, we put to sea and sailed for 16 days. In the biggest storm I'd ever seen, we almost lost our way. When a call came from a deckhand, boys, I think she's going down. But don't you fear, there's enough from here for to drink until we drown. Oh, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, early in the morning. So his deckhand grabbed a barrel, broke the seal, and took a swig. Soon their screams turned into songs, their panicked work turned into jigs. The first mate bellowed orders, ever trying to save their skins. Any drunken wretch the captain catch, he'll beat all limb from limb. Oh, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, early in the morning. Every man continued drinking, all their duties long forgot. They were deaf to every order till they heard a pistol shot. The captain stood on forecastle, swung the cat above his head. Back to your post, or by my ghost, you'll wish that you were dead. Oh, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, early in the morning. If a drunk received a beating, some of the drunker managed to. The captain kept an eye until he'd sobered up his crew. He then retired to quarters, put the rum upon his shelf, sat in his seat, put up his feet, and drank the rest himself. There you go. All right.
Yay.
Thank you all for joining us again. That should be all the stuff that we have to bother you with tonight. So please stick around. We'll see you all next weekend. Definitely show up if you can tomorrow morning to support Exuvier. We definitely appreciate that. Wednesday to support Follow Me Down. And stick around on the Discord and the Twitter for more coming soon. Until that time, fair winds and falling sails, brave mariners. We'll see you in a week.